our spirit? What is it? Where does it go? Are we able to see them using our mind's eye? If so, just what can spirit teach us? Welcome to Schooled Thru Spirit. Host DeEtte Ranae is a certified psychic medium and master teacher of psychic and mediumship development through LWISSD. DeEtte was born knowing spirit and now is here to help you better understand the spirit world. And now your host, DeEtte Ranae.
Good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome here to Schooled Thru Spirit. I'm DeEtte, your host, here on WLTK-DB.com. This is a show where I do talk about spirituality. Good morning, Sir Tim. And how it affects people's lives. Now, each week I do have a general discussion of whichever, kind of pops up. And excuse me, and then we go on to my guest. Now, my guest this morning is supposed to be Mike Pozorski. He is a medium out of Wisconsin. He's a fantastic medium out of Wisconsin. I've had the opportunity of meeting him quite some time ago. Don't think he remembers me, but that's okay, because it's not like I'm memorable or anything, I walk up and say, hey, and we're at an event that was a little bit faster, so it happens. Oh, good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Miss Phoenix. Facebook user, is that Deidre? Happy Monday. I'm not sure who the Happy Monday is, but happy Monday to you too. Probably Deidre. Who knows? Anyway, so we're looking forward to him coming in today. And if he doesn't, I'm pulling one of you in. How do you feel about that shenanigans for this morning? I'm getting really good at pulling people in, guys. Wouldn't you think? So, this morning I've been sitting back going, okay, what should I talk about? What spirit, what are you trying to do to me? And they keep putting really happy songs in my head, just happy songs in my head. It's crazy. Like old songs, new songs, just happy songs. And I'm like, what is this theme? What is this theme? And it made me think about a reading I did yesterday. And it made me think about where I've been at the last, 4 weeks since surgery, and maybe even a little bit before, and different things on that aspect. And I really started to think, okay, so what is this whole thing coming? Yes, guys, I still have my bionic arm. That's what we're calling it in my house. And it made me start to think of, where do we find happiness? Where do we find happiness? But I want to say, before that, it's kind of like happiness, forgiveness, everything in that whole genre, that whole place of being, because I talk to so many people, and I also thought about this yesterday. Like, somebody asked me what type of a medium I am, and I almost said it unfiltered when I went, you know what, honestly, I'm a healing medium. I'm one that loves to see people heal. I love to be in the presence of spirit. I love being in the presence of people, and I love seeing healing transpire. I just love it, whether it's within my teaching, the readings, whatever it might be. And a lot of the readings lately that I have been doing, a lot of them, and this is over the course of the last 2-3 months, have been very healing, in the way of finding the issues going on. Okay. And these haven't, some of them have been mediums, and some of them have been, medium readings, and some have been psychic readings. Oh, hello, Kath. Hello, Keith. Hello. Got you. There you are. And hello, Courtney. Build me up, Buttercup. I love it. Love it. And what I am finding is, people are telling me, you know what, I'm just here because I'm stuck, or I'm here because of this, or I'm here because of that. But they all come with the same thing: is I'm just stuck. I'm just stuck. I'm happy, I'm content, but I'm stuck. So for myself, I kind of gotta go in, and I ask spirit to go, hey, where are we going with this? Where are we navigating with this? Why are they stuck? And it is mind-blowing how it always comes to something that they haven't forgave or haven't understood. Let's put it that way, understood. So let's do it from that aspect. Say you got mom or dad issues, just say mom or dad, because it's It's easy to point the finger at our parents, right? It's just so easy. Um, but say, you got mom or dad issues and you're just, you're like, I'm content with it was, they were just this way, blah, blah, blah. Life is, I've gotten better, I'm in a better place, but blah, blah, blah. And you go, oh, okay, hey, Diana. And they're like, but you know what? And I've forgiven them. I've forgiven them. But you can feel the anger. You can feel that that's the reason why they're stuck. You can feel that that's the reason they're not pushing forward. And you go, oh, gosh, how do I help them with this? And the biggest thing I find is to go, you know what? Sometimes you have to go on a soul journey. You have to go on a soul journey. And what I mean by that is your own soul's journey. You have to go into your soul path. You have to go find, you have to go connect with your higher self, either through a deep meditation or a light meditation or maybe some automatic writing, just sitting there talking to yourself, whatever it might be. And you have to go find out what your soul's path is. Sounds pretty easy, doesn't it? It's not as easy as it sounds because you can have these beautiful conversations with yourself. And trust me, I have them all the time. And they're a lot, the conversations themselves are quite easy. What isn't easy is when you go on to, good morning, Miss Lori, is when you go into your soul path and you talk to it. You talk to your soul and you find out the reasons why you're here. And then you find out the reasons why you chose the parents you chose and the life you were going to have. Wow, that's a whopper, isn't it? That's a whopper. That's a huge one to go, wait a second. I chose this shit. I chose this person to be my mom or my dad. What the hell was I thinking? You know? And it really shifts that initial blame. Maybe not your whole life worth, but that initial blame back on you. Why? Because you chose these people for a certain reason, whether it be the DNA, the the soul tribe, the lessons you would learn from them. Now, let's say if it's that last one, the lessons you would learn from them, okay? Which also means that you contracted with this soul. And let's look at it as a soul. Let's take mom or dad and put them into the soul form versus the parental body form of the meat suit. And let's look at that aspect and go, you know what? Before you came to earth, you went, I really want to learn something here. I really want to experience something. I want to level up the experience of this soul. Okay. And you're talking to this other soul. Hello. Oh, hi, Dan. I can't get to see you in a couple of weeks. I'm so excited about that. But you know what? You sit down with this soul and you're like, you know what? I want to level up. I want to have a lot more understanding. I want to have a lot more growth. And this soul's going to look at you and go, okay, I'll play Mr. Bad Cop here. I'll play the bad guy. Now, it's not easy for that soul to play the bad guy, guys. And I know that's really hard to understand, but it's not easy for a soul to stand up and say, I'll be the bad guy. I'll be the angry one. I'll be the one, hey, Paula, I'm going to be that person for you so that you can have a certain type of life, so that you can come through a healing, so you can have a better understanding of so much more in a bigger picture. That's huge. That's huge. And it takes it from where you go, oh my God, I want to be angry at this person to, oh, wait a second. Wow. I may not like them so much right now, but I'll bet you what, when I get back to heaven, shit, we're going to have a big old cup of tea and talk together. And I have to apologize to this person. This person's going to sit there and cry and go, oh my God, I'm so sorry for all I did. And you're going to look at him and go, oh my God, but thank you, because I got so much out of it. And it doesn't make it easy while we're here. No, it makes it hard. Because contrary to what I do believe is popular belief, we are here for experiences. We're here for growth. And guys, if we come here and everything is just rainbows and unicorns and no conflict ever, where's our growth? I mean, no, I'm not going that we need war and we need, I'm going to kick my own butt, but when I get to the other side, exactly, Lori. Oh, Tim, I know exactly why I chose them so I could meet them perfect. There you go. There you go. You know, but honestly, I mean, yeah, can we sit down? And I do believe that when we finally get to a port, when we get to a portion in evolution, and I'm going to tell you evolution because I don't think this is today. I think this is evolution. I do believe when we get to that point of evolution where we don't need titles, we don't need boxes to place ourselves in for understanding. We don't need to have huge arguments. We don't need to, because we are taught to communicate and to have those experiences through communication and growth through understanding versus the experience of the physical tactile of something. It's going to take a bit. We're not there yet. We're, some of us are, and I'm not putting myself in that box. So I'm saying some of us as a population, those enlightened ones, are finally there where they can sit down and have these beautiful conversations where they're open up to all the multitude of possibilities going on around the world. And they're open to the difference of mind change, and they're open to the possibility of so much more. But quite frankly, people, most of us are not to that point yet. We have to hold on to our beliefs and our understandings and argue our points or even fight it out. Or we have to have experiences that put us in a place that really we struggle with. And those places sometimes are really hard. Sometimes they're really hard. And that's when you have to stand up and you have to have that conversation with yourself. You have to have that conversation with your soul. And you have to go, okay, why was I here? Why did I choose to be here? Why did I choose to show up? Oh my gosh, that is the first thing. Why did I choose to show up? It might be to finish a last lifetime. It might to have huge growth in this lifetime. I know with my own life, guys, I know within my own life, I've got multiple chapters. I got multiple chapters, multiple growth aspects, multiple everything. And I'm not going to say it's all been awful, especially now. Hell, I look back on my life and I'm like, hoo, hooray, this has been a fudging roller coaster of a ride and so much growth. And I didn't always feel that way. I did not always feel like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I've been with the worst, and done the worst of the worst, and maybe not done it all, but it's just been, it is what it is. But I look back on my life and I go, oh my gosh, why did I have to have all this? And why am I still fighting with some things in my mind? Why is still things not perfect? And it's so funny because I started to have a better understanding of this. Literally, like I went back, guys. I went back. I had to combine some things here for some understanding. I went back through my life and I did a ton of healing. Good morning, Des. I went back through my life and I have done a crap ton of healing, and understanding and growing. And this last year seemed to be a journey of the whys. The whys. Why would I do this to myself? Like, I understood I wanted to have a lot of experiences, but I was like, why? And it's so funny because it literally went into my astrology chart. It went into my astrology chart, and I went, wow. And I got, y'all know my astrologer, Michelle Prentice. I've had her on here a few times. I just love her to death. And she explains so much with so much enthusiasm. And she's like, oh my God, holy crap, woman, blah, blah, blah. But then it took another friend by the name of Diane, who I met over in Lilydale, who is proficiently studying astrology and explained my chart down to the detail. And she's like, oh my gosh, this and that and the other. And you really sought this life to shove so much into it, so many experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly, because you wanted to up level your soul. You went, you know what? I want to get to that platform when I come back. I don't want to be on this one. I've spent too long on this. I've been on platform 9 1/2 for too darn long, and I need to get to platform 9 3/4. So you know what? I'm jamming my life full of everything to pop myself up. So I put it all into one lifetime. I put everything into one lifetime. And the screwed up thing is yeah, I'm not in these situations of the bad anymore per se. I'm not in these situations of getting my butt kicked all the time when it comes to experiences of, beating or trauma or molestations or whatever. I'm not in that anymore. But I am in the point of valuing myself. Ooh, that's a big one, isn't it? That's huge. That's huge. I'm in that point of going, I value me, of putting value on myself. And it made me stop and think about my life and went, wait a second. I came into this lifetime because trust me, guys, when I've done this soul journey, I have gone right back to the womb. I've gone to the womb and brought myself back through because I want to know why I put myself through every single experiences. And for me, it started in the womb. It started with the choice of parents. And not to say my parents aren't amazing because, now that my dad has passed, I love the hell out of him. And my mom, she's amazing. But I wanted a certain experience. And because of what I chose, I also took value off myself. Not by my mom, that's by my dad. Mom loved me, dad didn't. And that's okay. That's okay. Because now that I'm in my 50s, I'm looking back going, what is the next lesson? What is the next experience? What is it? Now that I've had all of these experiences, now that I've gone through all of this, what am I supposed to learn from this? I understand I learned about love and I learned about conflict and I learned about seeing a bigger picture. And there's just the lessons go on and on and on. And it's huge. And I really get to use all of that to be a medium, which is even better because I get to help other people by understanding other people. And it's phenomenal. God, I love it. But what's my next lesson? What is the next part of my learning? And it really has only been the last few months that this came up. I went, oh my gosh, I don't value me. It doesn't mean I don't look at myself like I'm a good person. That does not mean I don't look at myself like, oh my God, I love the heck out of myself. It means that I put other people on a bigger pedestal, telling the world everybody's better than I am, that I can't achieve what they are because they're better than me. And that doesn't mean it has to be a celebrity. It can be my next door neighbor. It could be one of my students. It could be my children. It could be my grandchildren. It could be whoever. And that's what I've done my whole life. Because I've always had myself placed through this lifetime underneath other people. So over the last few months, I've been really, I'm not even saying struggling because I'm no longer struggling. Because I came to the realization, I went, this is something I need to learn. And I started calling people colleagues. Instead of saying, ooh, this person, or that. No, they're my colleagues. They might get paid more. They might be known better, but they're my colleagues. And this is my family. And these are my friends. And these are my neighbors. And we're all on one playing field. And I value myself now. And I value myself not to put myself in situations anymore that I don't need to put myself in. And I stopped and realized when I do things for other people, all the time, I do it because I value myself and how I feel myself. And that really uplifts a lot of people. And it uplifts myself because I've been able to get to know me. I've been able to understand the lessons. And I'm a true believer that when you start to learn your lessons, when you start to get through this growth and you really start to learn the lessons that your soul said, hey, come on and learn, and you have these experiences, then the next one comes and the next one and the next one. And when we don't fight them, we don't have this urge to say, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore. And you get off the struggle bus and you start going, okay, let's find out what this is. And you learn to experience it. And you learn to not fight it. And you learn to go, okay, give me more until I understand it. You'll find that you'll learn more lessons throughout this life. You'll have more experiences, and the experiences will change. And just as anything in life changes, you do. That's what the beauty of this is. Just growth yourself. How many can put up their hand and say, gosh, I wish I had my 18-year-old body back, but I don't want the wisdom of that 18-year-old. I'd like the wisdom I have today, but maybe the body of an 18-year-old. The difference is the life you've lived, the experience you've had, the lessons, if you want to call them, you've had to get you to the place where you're at today. That's your soul growth. Because trust me, with as much as the meat suit is understanding, the soul is understanding so much more, and it's just growing you. And it's beautiful when you get to go back. It's truly amazing when you get to go back and you get to put all the boxes together and you get to check them all and go, oh my gosh, I did this and I did this and I did this. And for myself, I know, for the one that's been put in Facebook jail here, and I don't know why, I'm going to say it's going to be, I'm really looking at it like it's going to be one of those Facebook quizzes where it says, check a box or put an X. Have you done this, this, and this? And how many can you get to? Because when I get to the other side, there's going to be a whole list. Did you do this, this? And I'm going to check and check and check and check. And I'm going to have as many boxes checked as I can. And I want to say that I truly experienced them all, which is amazing. Thank you, Keith, for coming in. I appreciate you, dear. And that's the next life, D. I love it, Courtney. I love it. So, for today, guys, take a morning. Good morning, Michelle. Take a moment. Start to do some meditation, connecting to your own self, your higher self, your soul. Take some time to have that personal time with it. Take that time to go inward and start to see a little bit of the path that you've created for yourself or the reasons for it. Have a little bit more of an understanding. It might actually help you to have a little bit more understanding about the other people around you or the other people in your life. And that becomes a beautiful experience, guys. A beautiful, uplifting experience. It's also going to help you to unstick you. It's going to help you to go to the next stage of life. With that being said, guys, we are going to take a brief moment. We're going to have a quick commercial. When I come back, I'm going to bring in Mike. This is DeEtte here on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB.com.
Looking for a holistic solution? Look no further than LimestreetWellness.com. Lime Street Wellness is a full-service Reiki therapy center offering in-person and distant Reiki sessions. Additionally, Lime Street Wellness is committed to helping clients co-create healthier outcomes with hypnosis, QHHT, and intuitive advice. Lime Street Wellness is committed to helping all that are seeking to co-create better health, peace of mind, and greater freedom. Reiki Master Kevin Mackey uses energy medicine, hypnosis, mindfulness, and intuitive guidance to assist in uncovering, understanding, and removing any blocks or energy cords or mental mindsets that may be intruding and causing needless suffering. Visit Lime Street Wellness today at LimestreetWellness.com. That's LimestreetWellness.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is DeEtte with Schooled Thru Spirit, WLTK-DB.com. I am so thrilled because during the break, I was able to go back over some of the comments, and I'm just glad that today's subject kind of helped people. So, I just kind of start babbling and see what happens from there. But today I have got a gentleman in. His name is Mike. I'm going to totally mess up Mike's last time because we all know I suck at names, but I'm going to say it's Pozorski. The little secret about Mike is Mike has no clue he's already met me. Let's bring in Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hello. How are you?
Wonderful. And you don't remember me, do you, darling?
I do not remember you.
I didn't think so. And it's so funny because I've been thinking about reaching out to you for a year. So when you reached out to me, I was like ecstatic. So you're like, huh?
I'm very curious. Yeah.
You're very curious. Okay. An event up in, Joanne's event in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Sheraton. You were on the inside table. If you walk around the outside, I was always at the first table looking in, but I was almost 100 pounds heavier.
Oh,
So
wow.
the last event we were at, I actually came and said hi to you, said, "Hello, how you doing?" And we were both slammed all day, and you came out a little bit, and I went, "How are you doing?" You went, "I've had enough." Like,
Yeah.
it's been a
I
day.
usually
So,
do during those type of readings and stuff like that, but
yeah.
wow. Was that last year?
Last year or the year before, it was during COVID time. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was when the
yeah,
rooms were separated. So, yeah, it
right.
was either last year or the year before when it was the last one I know you attended. But yeah, I actually met you. So I was like, to me, you're one of my celebrities.
Okay,
You're like,
awesome.
you know?
Yeah,
So, so again, thank you for reaching out and coming on with me. I appreciate that.
yeah, thank you for having me. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
So can you tell everybody, I mean, I told everybody that you're a medium and you're a psychic.
Mhm.
But can you tell everybody a little bit about your story? How you got to this journey?
Yeah, so, I had experiences throughout my whole life since, I don't know, probably 4 or 5, and then, with spirit and with my family and saying things to my teachers at school and all of that sort of thing. And then as I got into high school, I kind of shut it off. I didn't really want anything to do with it. I was very focused on basketball and hanging out with friends, living a very normal life. And then as I graduated and I turned about 18, I started having pretty profound spiritual experiences. Like I started seeing auras around people when I was in class at university, and I would see spirits. And the person I could confide in was my mom because she also had very similar experiences, but she never really talked about them and never pursued anything with spirituality. So we would talk about our experiences, and that was really comforting. And she encouraged me to learn more about the subject matter, to take workshops and classes. And so did she. So she does shamanic healings and she does some readings. She reads me every once in a while, which is nice. But she's very much into it too now over the last 10 years. And so I started taking classes, and it just was something that came really natural, and it
Mhm.
felt like I was right where I was supposed to be, and I never really had that feeling like I did when I would start doing readings for people. It's like I found myself, and every time I would take one of those classes or I would do a reading for someone before I was professional with it, it just felt right. My soul would tell me that this is where I need to be right now, and I just trusted that. And it evolved over. I started when I was 18. I was taking those workshops and classes, and I had other experiences which we can talk about too that kind of helped me stay on track or said, "Hey, uh, stay focused with this. This is what you should be doing." So I had those kind of callings, if you will,
Yeah.
and then I started doing it professionally around 23, and I'm 29 now, so I've been doing it the last 5 or 6 years in that way. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. It was the journey of it. It's always a journey, I guess you could say. We're always evolving and growing and expanding, but it has been quite the journey the last like 10, 11 years.
I love that. I love that. Now, when you were a kid, did because most children were told, obviously your mom didn't tell you to hush. You know what I mean? Like, don't shoot. But did you get that from friends or teachers and just kind of feeling like odd child out? Does that make sense?
Yes, I
Or
did. I had an experience where I had mentioned some things to a teacher. I saw people around her, and it was very not acceptable. I went to Catholic school, so that probably, you know how that is. So
I know, I didn't
it was
understand
probably
that
a little
because the
bit worse than it would if I was at public school or something like
the
that.
Catholics do exorcisms. They shouldn't be against it. You know what I
Yeah, so
mean?
and that was a whole it wasn't fun, but I don't think I really said anything after that, but it was not an acceptable thing. I mean, my parents, they were open to it, but they weren't really like they didn't know anything about it. They were very
Mhm,
much in the dark with that whole situation with me.
mhm,
So it wasn't really talked about ever when I was growing up. I
mhm.
would just have experiences every once in a while and they would kind of brush it off. But my mom, she kind of kept quiet with it until I turned 18. So she knew kind of what was going on. My dad really didn't understand, but he does now. So, but yeah, I would say people were a little like, "What's going on?" So,
I love that because I think what every medium has that story growing up,
yeah.
just I was always all the way through college, I was told, "Shut up, DeEtte, you don't know everything." It was like, "But I do." But I do. The answers come and I don't know why, you
Mhm.
know? So what are some of those experiences that you've had that really were just kind of, like, altering to you?
Oh, I had an experience when I was a kid, and we can go over a few of them, but
Yeah.
one of the earliest ones, and I don't even remember it. My mom remembers it, and she told me, a few years ago or when I started doing it, because when I started having these experiences, when I was like aware of it, 18, 19, she would tell me that, oh, well, you would say things like this when you were younger. And
Mhm,
I don't remember a lot of it, but I was in the car with my sister, who she must have been like 1 or 2 at the time. She's younger than I am, and I was 5 or 6, something like that. And we were driving on vacation, going up north somewhere, and I just randomly started saying in the car that there's a gentleman in the car with us. There's a man here, and my parents are like, "What are you talking about? There's no one else in here except us." And I'm like, "No, there's someone in here, and he wants to talk to you." And they just listened, I guess. And I said, he's with dad, or he's a friend or a cousin of dad's or something. I must have said a cousin, because that's who he was. And I believe I said his name and I said what he looked like because I could see him sitting in the car. And I said, he wants to know how you like the glass bowl that he got for you on your wedding. And they like stopped the car and pulled over. Like, how do you know that? Like, where is this coming from? And I'm like, he's saying it to me right now. And
right.
that was like, and he had gotten my parents a glass bowl kind of thing for their wedding gift. So that was like one of the first experiences that I had. Um, and then I guess when I was around 18, 19, I would be sitting in university in classes and I would see lights around people, like colors around people. I would see colors around myself circling me. I had an experience with an archangel and I saw him standing next to my bed, which was just an absolute mind-blowing experience. And I can go into detail if you want with that, but I
Oh,
had those experiences.
yeah.
And people, I lived in a dorm in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
So you can imagine that being a
intimidating,
medium in a dorm with hundreds of other kids, I
right,
mean, you're going to pick up on things and see things. And I certainly did.
right.
Loved ones would come to my dorm room. And it was almost like, it felt to me at the time like there was like a sign above my door, my dorm room, like, I'm a medium, come talk to me, because that's kind of how it felt like. It was just like an open invitation to the spirit world to come talk to me when I was in my dorm. So I would have experiences like that, like, them wanting to talk to their grandchildren down the
Yeah,
hall. And I never I never really pursued that, but I did do readings for people. When I would go out with my friends, every once in a while I would say something if I felt like open to say something. I
mhm.
don't do that anymore, but I did. I was young and didn't know any better, but it was helpful in some cases and people enjoyed it. So,
Right.
yeah, I've had a few experiences. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love it when I hear a medium say, "I don't do that part," because that's one thing I teach my students is do not walk up to strangers.
Yes,
They
yeah.
think you're the CIA. Don't do them to
Yeah,
what I mean?
I totally agree,
You know,
100%.
you're either gonna be totally wrong or they're gonna go, "Why are you reading my brain?" You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right.
it's never good. Well, it can be, but so what how did you evolve through that? How did you finally get to the point where it's like, I mean, did you feel like this was normal? Or did you feel like maybe you're kind of going crazy in some aspects?
Um,
Because at this point, you've got to realize you're like the only one in the dorm going, "Hey, I see dead people."
yeah, I think for me, It was it was kind of a thing where I was going to school and nothing interested me. Like nothing. I mean, nothing in university or even high school really got my attention except one class in high school, my senior year for one semester. It was a theology class. And that was interesting to me, like questioning reality and things like that. I'm like, this is really interesting. So it makes sense to me now, but I didn't really know why I was interested in much as I was at that time. But nothing really grabbed my attention. But I started learning more about spirituality and having these experiences. I mean, I would look into it, I would study it, I'd read about it. I'm like, this is really fascinating, and it helped me. I wouldn't say I was depressed, but really unfulfilled. Like I had nothing that fulfilled me, nothing that was meaningful. But when I did that and I would read about it or learn about it or have some of these experiences, it was like, this is so unbelievable. And I felt like it was a privilege, it was a gift. And that kind of like pulled me through, I guess you could say, like through all the stuff that we have to go through as mediums with other people, family members, friends, whatever. But it was so strong and it was so clear that, you know, life is calling me to do this, and that knowing kind of pulled me through all of those struggles and difficulties through evolving, because it's not fun. It's not a fun, happy thing. It can be in the beginning. It's exciting. You're learning about it, but there's definitely going to be challenges that come with it.
Mhm.
And that really pulled me through, just like knowing that there's something more to this life, and how lucky am I, how fortunate am I to be able to have these experiences and
Mhm.
share them with people. So that really kept me going in that way.
That's incredible. That's incredible because you are younger, you know what I mean? And you find and I'm sure you've already noticed in your field, most mediums are second career mediums. You know what I mean? So they've
Mhm.
had their first life and then they hit that midlife crisis, they're starting to question. And it's like, "Oh my god, this has been going on my whole life." So we call, we I personally call them like, second career mediums because it's not that they haven't had it, it's just they're finally accepting it. So for you
Right.
to be younger to go, and I'm not devaluing you or your age, but it's just, compared to the generation, my generation, it's a big difference. It's really a big difference to be able to go, "Oh my gosh, I'm figuring this out now," and how life experiences can really affect you. You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. It was almost like I had a midlife crisis at 20. That's what it felt like. It was, I knew, I just had that intuition, that knowing that life is so short and nothing is going to ultimately fulfill me except following this path, whether it be mediumship or spirituality. And I just knew that. And I did a lot of meditation.
Mm,
That helped me a lot in quieting my mind and getting down to my heart, my soul, and just listening to that, because it was never wrong. And I figured that out really soon too. But I just followed that. And I think if we can all try to do that and learn to do that, our lives would be more meaningful and fulfilling. But I think the experiences were so strong. I don't know. It grabbed me very early. And I'm like, I have to pay attention to this. I just knew that. So that's what I did.
I love that. I love that because just because so many people ignored it, they shut it down. We just go, ugh, ugh, and we end up being not happy people, which is never good. It's just never good,
Yeah.
you know. So let's hear about this experience. How did you do? Somebody wants to ask straight up. How'd you deal with your Catholic side? Oh, that is such a good question.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I part of me growing up, I kind of liked having that I don't know. There's definitely a spiritual element to all religions. Like there's truth in all religions, and I think it helped me somewhat growing up as a child to like have that connection.
Mhm.
Um, it never really bothered me. It just didn't. I mean, Catholicism or whatever, and their beliefs and this and that. I never really got hung up on that, but I knew, I'm like, well, there's truth in the Bible. There's truths there. There's truths in Buddhism and all these other things that I learned about after too as I got a little bit older. I'm like, there's truths in all religion, but I don't know. I just followed my heart with that throughout that too, and it always just felt like I was on the right path and
Mhm.
just guided, I guess. And I listened to that, and it didn't really affect me at all. But I can respect people that, if they want to have that, or, a religion or whatever, that's fine. If that's
Mhm.
what, they want to do. But it's when people start, being rude or cynical and judgmental, that's when it's not okay.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I agree 110%. And I think there's, especially from a medium or a psychic, you can look at it, and I think there's really good in all aspects. I mean, a mediumship, one of the biggest, and you've taken classes, so the biggest thing we have is commitment to spirit. What
yeah,
do you learn in being Catholic other than commitment?
right,
Commitment and faith. It's, which is our those are our two biggest things. So,
right,
I hear it a lot from, mediums that are Catholic. They're like, God, they taught me this. Like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, it's huge.
yeah,
It's huge.
yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
yeah.
so which I love. Now, I'm just as eager. I want to ask about the archangel with Michael, Archangel Michael, and Tina's going. I'm blah, 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 you know what I mean. I have Uriel that shows up all the time for me.
Okay,
Which
yeah.
is always kind of like, oh, what I'm doing now. Oh, this isn't, because Uriel shows up for me, and I'm like, oh, here
Yeah.
comes the roller coaster ride.
I understand.
How is it when Michael shows up? I mean, that's just got to be a like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I was 22, I was living in Milwaukee, and I'd woken up in the middle of the night, just randomly woke up, and I remember rolling over on my side, and I looked down at the ground, and I saw these feet, and he had these Roman emperor sandal things on, and they were strapped up around his legs, and I slowly kept looking up, and I saw this kilt, and he had this, I don't know, armor type stuff on. And he was like 7, 8 feet tall. And I'm seeing him like I'm looking at you, like color.
Wow.
It looked physical, but I knew that he wasn't. And this unconditional love was just pouring through me. And I could just feel it throughout the whole room. And there was no fear, there was no worry. I didn't really have any thoughts. It was just a recognition that, oh, he's with me again. And he felt like a best friend, like a really, really close friend. Like I could just like cry and just break down, like that type of feeling.
Yeah.
And he was just totally focused. It was totally intentional. Him just being with me in that moment, just he was just looking down at me, smiling. And I was like, what is going on? I think I had a thought like that, like, what is going on? But I
Yeah.
felt totally safe and totally at peace with this whole experience. And then I just felt this urge to roll back over and go back to sleep.
Oh, wow.
And then it wasn't long after that had happened that I had another experience, which I've heard in a lot of near death experiences. I
Mhm.
saw my life script, and my life was read to me in a flash. And I don't know who read it, if it was Archangel Michael, I don't know, but the voice was like very authoritative, like kind of strong, but also very calm and loving. But it was definitely getting my attention. So I feel like it was Archangel Michael, but I can't be for certain.
Right.
And it showed me in that I was here. One of the reasons why I'm here is to do mediumship and to
Mhm.
follow that calling and to share it with the world and get it out there. Um, so that was really interesting. And those experiences happened around the same time. Not far, like it might have been a couple days that then I had that experience. But so I had that experience, and then a couple years after that, uh, I had met this girl and we started dating, and it wasn't long into our relationship. I was staying at her house, and she had woken up in the middle of the night, and she rolled over, and I was laying next to her, and she saw the same thing I did,
Right.
and just standing there in the room, and she got this unconditional loving feeling. She said like it felt like a blanket was wrapped around her in love, and she was like, "Oh, he's just with Mike again." And she felt the urge to like roll back over and go back to sleep. And then she woke up and started shaking me. She's like, something's in the room. I don't know what's going on. She didn't have many of these experiences, and I'm like, oh, that's just Archangel Michael. And then I showed her a statue of him that I had. She just started breaking down crying. She's like, that's exactly what I saw. She's like, what's going on? And I explained it to her. So it was like kind of she had that experience. And I know he's with me often. not like my own personal guide, but he's with many people, obviously. But yeah, so that was my experience. It was unreal, and that was another thing that validated to me this whole life calling thing, that we are called to do something. We do have a purpose. We do have a mission. We have certain talents and gifts that are latent within us, and if we want to open up to them and use them, we can help people. So that was my experience.
I love that. I love that. Now, in your adult years, I mean, from the time you figured this out on, have you done it? Are you just full time, or do you do something else and this? Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do it part time. I'm doing it very slowly, just allowing it naturally to happen. Um, I am pushing with it and putting more energy into it now as I'm getting older, because I do know that I'm going to be doing this full time at some point, but I'm just going to allow that to happen when it should. But I definitely have to put in the hours and work and do everything else behind the scenes with marketing and putting posts out there and things like that too. But yeah, it's a part-time thing, and I have a part-time job. So
Well, I find that with a lot of mediums, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Literally, I was a nurse for 21 years. It was 3 years ago. They're like, "You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done." I'm like, I can't afford. And then I realized I wasn't picking up paychecks. I literally was not paying up for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, never picking up a paycheck. And they're like, "Do you need the job anymore?"
Yeah.
Okay, I quit. You know, but again, it was 21 years though before I decided to walk away. You know, so I
Mhm.
get it. You know, I get it. It's not easy. This is people don't realize this is as wonderful as this occupation can be. We struggle with it. You
Mhm.
know, it's a lot of ups and lots of downs, you know? Um, oh, sorry. I got a troll. Good job, darling. I don't get trolls very often anymore. So
Oh, there is.
you're like, oh boy, it's you, Mike. People are coming into the energy. I love this. So you said you took classes, like because you know everybody, you know, I'm still a firm believer everybody's born this way, you know what I mean? But the classes
Mhm.
really help us hone our skills. So who did you study with?
The first person was Amy Walensky, Golden Light Healing. She lives in Sobieski, Wisconsin. Sobieski. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but I don't know if you know of her.
I
Um,
might.
she does a lot of shamanic healings. I did a shamanic year study journey with her too. And she also teaches mediumship and psychic classes. So the first class that I took with her, I was 18, it was right out of high school, and it was a psychic class.
Okay.
And I started doing readings for people there, and I did psychometry stuff and signature readings. And I don't remember if we did aura stuff or not, but I mean, that was just amazing to just tap into that too. It is different from mediumship, but it's still really incredible.
Yeah.
And I remember doing readings for people, and I'm like, this is so unreal, because it's just a total like world flip. Like, I was going to Catholic school my whole life, very logical process in school and basketball, into like this world of spirit, and I just knew things about people, and it was so amazing. It was just like following my bliss, if you will. That's really what it was. And I started with that, and then I think I took a mediumship one like a month later, so it wasn't long after the psychic one. And I did a reading for this gentleman. It was my first mediumship reading I ever did. And I knew his grandparents were with him. I knew their names. I knew how they passed. I knew what they looked like. All these kind of memories came back, that he had experiences with them and this sort of thing. And he was really blown away. And so was I mean, but and then I'm like, I got to do this. This is too interesting. How is this possible? So I took classes with her. Um, and then I took a class with James Van Prague. You know him,
I know
yeah.
James, yeah.
Yeah, and I might have did a couple of classes like online, and then I did one in person in Chicago. I studied with John Holland and Janet Novak in New York, somewhere in there. And then I am currently still studying with Paul Jacobs. He's a
Oh,
tutor at the Arthur Findlay College, and I'm doing a mentorship with him. And I'm going to be in my third year with him coming up this May.
Wow.
So
He's incredible. He's
yeah,
incredible. I've
yeah.
never personally met him, but one of my best friends are friends with him, and she loves to go to Arthur Finley, and she's like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, we're taking you." I'm like, "No, you're not. No, you're not. You'll murder me over there. No, you're not. I'm an American medium." So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I mean? And anybody in this world understands when I say I'm an American medium, what that means.
yep,
'Cause I'm all about the experiences and the emotion and the message, and and English mediums are more about evidence, 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 evidence. You know what I mean? Which is beautiful. They're both
right.
evidence in their own right. You know what I mean? It's just
Mhm.
I know the minute I step in Arthur Finley and I start screaming about experiences and messages, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
Gonna cry.
they are they're very strict, and I think that's one of the things that I really liked about it though too. I'm like, wow, these people, they're like masters of this work. And the I've never been there, but I can sense it from him, and Mavis Patilla too. I studied with her as well. There's just the English mediums, like they're just unbelievable. They
Mhm.
really are, and their teaching styles and things like that. And I think for anyone listening to, like, the learning and the mechanics and the development is really important. I,
Mhm.
is it absolutely needed? I don't know. I'm not sure, because I mean, like you said, and I agree too, like we're born with this gift.
Mhm.
But I think if you can learn more about it, it can only help your profession and the readings that you do. And I've definitely noticed that it has helped me tremendously, just in the last couple of years. But yeah, they have their own style for sure.
I I love them. Don't get me wrong. I love a UK English medium because
Yeah.
you will get rank, name, serial number. You know, you'll get it all, which is
Mhm.
phenomenal. I mean, it's just I've had the privilege never of meeting Mavis in person, but I have met her since she's passed because she came to me to read to somebody else, and literally I started, going da and she just the look on her face when she looked at me was like, "Get on with it." Like,
Mhm.
and I went, "Oh," and she went, "Oh, yeah, you got Mavis." Like, so right there, it told me I should never go to Arthur Finley. I'm very don't go. It's I need to go see Hogwarts. I need to experience it, but not to be a student within it because I'll come out crying. It's just it's not my world, you
Right.
know. But I do agree with you with classes because I either teach or I'm taking classes because I do think it's an evolution of ourselves.
Mhm.
We get just like anybody, you need to, it's the extra hours of learning every year that other occupations have, to
Mhm.
grow ourselves.
Mhm.
So, which I love. So, what other forms? I mean, you talked about signature readings. What exactly? I've never heard that. So, what is that?
That was a really fun one. I so the per, one of so you sit with one other person and you sign your name, and then the person traces over it with a pen, and you can pick up information past, present, and future.
Oh,
So I remember sitting with a woman, and I got her occupation. I got things about her past. I don't remember all of the reading, but it did some real evidential, factual things, just pulling from the name, just tracing over the name, the energy from it. And I even did it with my mom one time, and I know my mom, and I got things about her past that I didn't know about. So I thought that was really interesting. And I think you just set an intention and open up in a psychic level and just trace over the name and just see what you get impressed with. And you can get a lot of information just from doing that.
that is so cool. I'd never heard about that. So it sounds like it's a different form of like psychometry on a different level, which is just I love learning about different things. I love hearing about those different experiences or those different things. So are you still living in Wisconsin then also? Or
Yes.
did you finally take off?
No, I'm still in the cold tundra. Yeah.
I'm in southern Wisconsin, so we're up to almost 50 today. So I'm like, yes, and the snow's gone, again. So,
Oh, lucky you. Not
oh,
here.
yeah. You have to be below Madison. We don't get hit, and we do get hit, it melts. It's awesome. Um, It's been a beauty. It's just I feel like we're being washed, like we're getting rid of filth or something because the snow comes in, it melts, it washes away. So we keep getting cleansed. You know,
Mhm.
we're cleansing something away. Um, so what is I mean, because I see you online, advertising, doing galleries and things of that nature, quite frequently. And how did you get into that type of work?
Ooh, I felt drawn to do like group readings. I love getting up in front of people. I love doing the energy of it is different. I love doing one-on-ones too. It's very intimate, very personal. I really enjoy that aspect too, but I also really enjoy like the gallery settings and
Mhm.
doing it with groups of people because it does bring a different energy, and the healing that can happen with multiple people in there. Like, I mean, just a lot of people are crying in there, like a lot of emotions, laughter, all of that stuff too, which is good. But the healing can happen on a bigger scale within a group type setting. And I've just noticed that throughout the years of doing them, there really is this atmosphere, this like energy that's like in the room, and people can feel it and sense it, and they comment about it, and they've come up to me and they're like, I didn't even get a reading, but I'm so happy I came to this just to see that just, so hearing that is like, wow, so I do it obviously for those reasons, and because I think it helps in a different way. But I also love just being in front of people and connecting with people, because too, I mean, being, I guess you can call it a spiritual entrepreneur, if you will, you're kind of on your own a lot. So getting out and socializing or getting out of your own bubble and doing this work it's really healthy, I think, for me personally anyway. So just being around a group of people in that atmosphere and doing it it's amazing. So I love doing it. I'm definitely will continue to do it.
I love that. I mean, do you find it hard to find like-minded people? I'm
Yes.
gonna say, yeah, true like-minded people. You know what I mean? You know
Yes.
what I mean? That, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
it's like
for
it has
me,
to be
like I'm
tough.
a guy, I know this industry is mostly women, which is fine. I don't care. It's not, it doesn't have to be mostly men or like, 20-year-old guys. It doesn't matter. But it is, for me personally, it is a woman industry. There's not a lot of men in the industry that are doing this type of work. So but I do connect. I mean, with I feel very connected with you even in this conversation. So, but there are other people that do this work too that is just like, I don't know. It's not really jiving. We're not connecting, but that's okay too.
Right.
They're on their own thing, doing whatever, that's fine. But I have felt that, and it's just something that I think we have to be willing to accept, even in society, because this is definitely not of the norm.
Mhm.
So you have to accept that part, and then you also have to accept the just in the work itself too, because you're not going to resonate with everyone, and they're not going to resonate with you with this.
Mhm.
So it can be somewhat isolating at times, but we pull through.
Well, we do. And see, I kind of picked that up when we were talking about the galleries, because I get that. I love doing galleries. I love doing because it just all of a sudden I feel like I'm in a camaraderie. You know what I mean? I feel like I've got a group of people. We're all in one like mind. And the minute you walk away, because you have to walk away, it almost feels lonely on some level to go, oh, yep, back by myself again.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always feel like these roller coasters, you know what I mean? So, and I think that's why I still do a lot of events, and I'll probably always do some events,
Hmm.
because I at least I know when you inundate yourself with so many spirits all around you, you never feel alone.
Right.
That's my kind of maybe it's back ass word, I don't know, but
Yeah, I think that's totally true. I definitely feel that way too sometimes, but then it's like just remembering that we aren't alone, and our family members and friends. I don't have a lot of people over there within my family, but I have some. But then just connecting with our guides, our spirit guides, that's been really incredible for me.
Mm,
In that kind of like that period of feeling alone and things like that, or it comes and goes, whatever. But just like the meditation, the thing, just getting in a quiet place, just sitting down, letting the mind become still and then connecting in, it's like, I'm never alone. It's like, this is amazing. So we kind of forget that every once in a while, but it's always there and we can always come back to it.
110%,
Mhm.
110%, and they get to be kind of annoying after a while. You're like, I
Yeah.
got a new one that plays with my nose, and that's what and he knows who I'm talking about. I keep calling him Dobby because he just plays it because he hasn't introduced himself other than he flits my nose
Mhm.
and makes it run, and I'm like, knock it off, knock it off, knock it off. You know what I mean? I'll figure
Yeah.
out why you're here. Eventually, you'll say who you are. It's his thing. Today, he's actually left my nose alone, so he must be interested in listening to you. So
Good. Oh, wow.
it every time I get on a show, he sits there and plays with my nose, like, he's like a little child. He really is
Yeah.
like a little child that just says, "Pay attention to me and only me," so
Yeah.
you know how it gets with our guides, they just do what they wanna do, they're extensions of us.
Yeah, they'll pop in for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, I love it. Oh my god. Courtney just said, "That's not even funny. I get a cheek brush and a nose twitch." There you go. There you go. Yeah, and you know what? What is your journey? Let's go there. What is your journey with your guides? How did you I mean, other than classes, how did you find your guides or your journey with them?
Yeah, so I think, it really started with that Archangel Michael experience, because then I saw, it wasn't just an idea or something I learned or read from a book. I had a real physical experience that just showed me. So I think I probably needed that. I think we get what we need in those experiences. So I saw him, so I knew that he was with me. And then seeing that life script, I probably needed that too, to be told that, hey, just keep going with this. You're on the right path. That when I look back, it's like, wow, I really did need those experiences because I mean, you do this work and, it's like, man, this is hard. Should I keep going down this route or should I do something else within spirituality? It's like, no, let's just stay focused. And
Mhm,
you learn to trust that moving forward in your development stages anyways.
mhm.
Um, but I think it started with that experience. And then I'm like, wow, this spirit guide thing, like this is real. Let's look into that. Maybe they can help me because what do I know? So maybe I'll just let them tell me what to do. I'll just follow that. And then I'll probably be a little bit more happy with my life. And to the extent that I do that, things are pretty good.
Yeah.
But when my own little mind gets in there sometimes, well, then I have to be like, okay, let's just relax, settle down for a minute. Let's go back to that. And I think, yeah, that's how it started. I think with that experience. And then I mean, I read some books with it, just learning how to do it. I also learned too with it, just from my own personal experience with learning about guides. It's not so much to like have to know who they are or what they look like or what their names are, any of that, but just like listening, and just whatever clear audience comes in or words or feelings or just knowings, just to trust those and move forward. But I think it's really cool to know who they are too. I mean, I like that aspect. I think we all do.
Yeah.
But that's about my story with it. I can't think of any. I've had some other experiences too, but I mean, they are with us and we can call upon them whenever we need to.
Mhm.
Even if you do like a daily thing with it, I think that might even be helpful. But I kind of just let it up to them. If something needs to be told, I'm just like, hey, I'm open. If something needs to be said, I'm listening, and I'll try my best to do that. So
I love that. I love that because so many people make guides, "Oh my god, you have to have them." And other people are like, they're there, I don't know." You know what I mean?
mm,
And where they're gonna be at. So I love seeing your take on it. I love seeing that, because 'cause I'm a person that I was like, everybody's like, "You need to know who your guides are," and I didn't. I didn't. I thought, "Oh my god, I'm broken. I can't figure this out. I can talk to your grandma, but I can't talk," you know what I mean? It was just such a struggle
yeah.
until one day they all show I had a handful of them going, "Where'd you guys come from?" Like,
Mhm.
"What's this?" And then sometimes they show up like I know who they are and what they're here for and blah, 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 and other times I have a Dobby going, "Are you just here to entertain me?" And maybe that's all he's there for, I don't know, so I love
Right.
to hear that.
Yeah, I definitely feel it's not important. It's just what's important is that did you listen? Did you hear it? And are you taking action on it? And then things will come in with what you need when you need them, whether it's an experience like mine or even with what you're talking about or anything like that. And just kind of like relish in those experiences. They don't happen all the time. And when they do happen, I think I probably have an experience like a really kind of profound thing happen maybe once a year or
Mhm.
twice a year where it's like, wow, that was incredible. It doesn't happen all the time. But I get intuitions and things like that that do come from my guides that are more subtle.
Right.
Um, but even if we really want to know who they are and what their names are, we may not get them.
Mhm.
So just I kind of tell people like just allow it to happen when it should, and you will absolutely know when it does happen.
Oh gosh, yeah, 110%, you know,
Mhm.
110%. I want to also ask you, because I think you hit on a very valid point, as especially in your development, how this was really hard. This
Yeah.
was really hard, only because, you know, we I say it all the time, and it just came. It was easy. It was natural. This is what it is. But oh my God, it's so hard.
Mhm.
And we're throwing those two things in there. So, can you explain that to people? What that understanding of that?
Yeah, people who say, "Oh, it's so easy, it's so natural." I don't know. I really question that. Maybe I don't know. Who knows? But I think if you just look at society, we're like socially conditioned. So you have to break through those barriers of other people, what they think of you. When you eventually come out of the closet and you start going public with it, kind of relinquishing all those attachments to other people and their opinions and thoughts about you. So you got to let all that go. And it's not that hard. It's really up to the individual. But then you got to learn about the subject matter and you have to develop your skills and abilities. And you're going to have readings that don't go well and that just don't work. And you can't let that affect you to where you stop doing it because it's going to happen. It's happened to everyone, like and just like knowing that there isn't one medium in this world that's 100% accurate. It's impossible. So you got to go through those learning phases. I think too that when we start mediumship, it's a very natural process. It does feel very natural, and I think part of that is like the universe kind of telling us we're on the right path. So it's going to feel really natural in the beginning. It's going to feel great. You're going to have those kind of blissful, exciting, the honeymoon phase, if you will. And then you're going to have to go into, you know, deeper with it. And that's where it can be a little bit challenging, where it almost feels like it becomes unnatural. So then that's when you have to develop the skills and you have to learn the mechanics and how it works. And then you'll start to kind of move from that feeling of it kind of feeling unnatural to that more natural place again, where you've went through all of these things and you've had to learn surrendering and accepting on a deep spiritual level, not just with mediumship, but in your own personal life. And
Mm.
it's through that valley, through those challenges that we learn through our soul's growth as a person, as a human being, like our own challenges in our own lives, and also the challenges with mediumship, that if you just stay on track and you just keep persevering and you keep going, you're just going to keep growing and expanding. And then you'll start to look back and see like, oh my God, I've grown so much. Like my readings are getting better slowly, but this is unbelievable. And I think that if people can just realize why they're here and work on actualizing that and just staying on that path, that the rewards are just incredible. But it's a long journey. It's not a year or two. It's like 10, 20 years before you really start seeing those payoffs in different ways. But yeah, it is challenging. You know, in different ways too. In a business way, you got to learn the business side of it and your financial side of it and your marketing and all of that sort of thing. So, not you got to learn all that too. There's a lot of elements to it.
There's a ton of elements to this. I mean, it's huge. I was just talking to my producer before we started the show that, you know, um, and it is go. I have people that I've known in my life that have the beginning, that amazing feeling, like, oh my gosh, this is incredible, and it's so easy, and look at all the information I'm getting. But really, if you don't put in the time, it lays flat. It's like, oh, you got great information in the beginning, but it takes work, it takes commitment, it takes time, it takes a lot of readings
Hmm.
to build up that skill set and that trust with spirit, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, in the beginning it's always fun and exciting, but it's like are you willing to persevere through the development process? And then that's when things get amazing. And I've had so many awakenings during that time and just kind of realizations with my own life, but it really comes down to just surrendering and
Mhm.
trusting, letting go, accepting, having compassion for yourself, like all these like really deep spiritual truths. Like I learned because of mediumship. Like it pulled me into that, and not only have I evolved in my mediumship, but as a person, it's unreal. And I don't think that would have happened if I didn't really accept that call and move forward
Yeah,
with with this work.
it's incredible. So where do you see yourself possibly being in like 10 or 20 years?
Um, Doing this work, I would love to be doing more galleries and group events and traveling throughout the US. Um, I know I'm supposed to write a book, and I don't know when, but I know the title of it. I know what it's going to be about. I haven't started it yet, but I think I'll probably have a book written by then,
Yeah.
and I'll be sharing that and doing mediumship.
Yeah, I love that. Don't you love it when they give you the title and you're like, "Ugh, I've had my title for years, but it hasn't been to this last month and it started getting written." So
Yeah, I was like, thank God a title. This is really good. This is going to be good. So,
it
and
gets worse after that, Mike. Trust me, because then you're kind of like,
oh yeah,
all you'll hear is about the book, the book, the book. And you're like, you didn't give me the rest of the pages.
yeah, I was writing like rough drafts for about a year, and I didn't have a title, and then it came to me. They're like, "This is what the title is going to be." I'm like, "Okay, good." And I haven't really picked up after that point, so I'm sure that I may. Who knows? Maybe they'll start nudging me in that direction soon. But it hasn't been a total focus. But I know the title of it, so I'm happy with that right now.
I love that. I love that. You know. Now, do you ever look at yourself as possibly being a teacher, or do you teach?
I'm not teaching yet. I share some stuff on social media, like just kind of tips on mediumship or psychic work here and there, but I think I will. For sure. I think within the next couple of years, I'll probably be teaching.
I love
Mhm.
that. I
I
love that because I love it when when genuine people share their experiences and really that what your knowledge is, what your experience is.
Yeah, I've been so grateful for the people that have taught me and kind of held my hand. And I mean, if I can do that for somebody else, someone who's struggling with it or, are called to do this work and they need that mentor, that teacher. I mean, I've gotten that and I would love to give that back to other people because it is needed. I think it is needed. There has to be teachers out there. So we can, learn from them and all their experience and stuff like that, and it helps us connect in socially with other people and understand their world. And it's there's a lot of similarities, and it gave me comfort for sure.
Yeah. I always think it's beautiful because with myself and teaching, it's to me it's easy to teach you to see dead people. It's easy to teach you to see energy. What's hard to teach is for you to pay attention to your own senses and develop those senses because it's retraining a brain. It's retraining your whole life of how you viewed the world, and getting you through that aspect of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where the teacher can come in and help so much. And I think just through the development of mediumship, we learn about our own spirituality through that process too. And
Mhm.
learning that can also help in putting those two together in whatever way is best with you and sharing that with people. It is incredibly helpful.
Yeah. Now, one word you've said a lot is spirituality.
Mm.
I'm only bring this up because you live in Wisconsin. It's far and few between here. You know what it does that make sense? You know, spiritual we have I think one spiritualist church. We you know what I mean, or two during season. There's not a lot of places for us to go for what true spirituality is.
Mhm.
So how is your growth within a community that's a little lackluster there?
Yeah, it's I think you have to just be one of the first things that I learned was meditation. So
Hmm.
that was like my introduction to spirituality. And what I've learned is that through my own development as a person, spiritually speaking, it connected me more with my mediumship.
Hmm.
So things like meditation, mindfulness, being present, like you know of Eckhart Tolle.
Hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of his teachings and just what's really been helpful is just the surrendering aspect, accepting the present moment where I currently am and just taking steps like, one step at a time. That's my spirituality is just being present and focusing on the now. Um and then that allows me to come more into my purpose here instead of being in my head or thinking about the future or I should be at this point and I'm not or whatever. So it's just like coming back to that heart-centered place and just the stillness and the presence and being in this moment. That's spirituality for me and what I've learned. um but it's just through books, reading, things like that, and yeah, I'm from Manitowoc, Wisconsin, so it's not a very big city, and even
Awesome.
Milwaukee and Madison are a little bit more liberal or more advanced, if you will,
Right.
um, in some ways than little old conservative Manitowoc. But I like it here though. But it has been interesting because there's not a lot of people that are
Hmm.
drawn to that, or that I can talk to about these kind of things. So
And that's just it. And Wisconsin's amazing. Trust me, I love Wisconsin from the north to south. I've lived in Hayward and southern community, and I love the state. But a lot of people don't understand that word, or they don't
mm,
understand how to find it. Like for myself, if I want to go to church, love the church in Milwaukee. I love Stacy, but my church is actually in Lilydale. I have to drive 9 hours to go to church. You know what I mean?
goodness,
So
yeah,
it's worth it. It's worth the drive. you
yeah,
know? But it is. It's hard to find that like-minded. I mean, you've got like-minded within the mediumship, but then you have like-minded within the spiritualist community or spirituality, and to
sure,
find what that truly means. Because a lot of times, I do believe we say the word spirituality, and nobody really knows what it means. You
hmm,
described it beautifully. You truly described it probably the best I've ever heard it. Just as a description. So,
hmm.
which tells me you've done a lot of thought. You've done a lot of going inward to go, what does this mean to me?
We're at yes, 100%. It's just coming to that still point within yourself and accepting, allowing, surrendering, just very simple things, just in our everyday lives.
Yeah, I love that. And I like how you use the same terminology, whether it be mediumship or psychic or life or spiritual, and it's going within, finding calm, finding your heart center. You
Hmm.
know, where do you think you'd be in life if you didn't find those secret ingredients?
My dad runs a business, a company. So I'm sure I would be doing that. I'd be taking over the family business. I would not be doing anything with psychic stuff or mediumship stuff. I would not be going to events or reading anything about that. I'd probably be partying a little bit too much. I'm sure I'd be doing that more. And just working, I'd probably be living a very, a very logical, you know, uh, reasoning kind of mind person. That's probably who I would be. I would imagine. Yeah.
Right. See, I think I'd just be a hot mess. I'm already a hot mess, so I'd be worse. I'd be like,
Yeah.
because I always tell the first thing I tell my students are, you're going to meditate. And they go, how do you do it? I said, I don't know. I don't do it, but you're going to meditate. And they just kind of look at me. I'm like, I hate meditation. Although I can sit in quiet for hours and be in a present state for hours,
Mhm.
and lose my mind there. But to sit down and do any like technical form of meditation, I can't do it. My brain goes, nope, I got to do dishes and I got to do this and I can do that. But I can sit in my own type for forever, so, or I
Yeah.
drive. You know what I mean? I can get anywhere in a blink of an eye. So I love that. So, oh, Kevin said Ashland is the same way, very few people. And that's very true. Ashland's another beautiful, and I'll actually be in Ashland in a few weeks. So, which is it's another beautiful community that has the same thing. So
Mhm.
less people. So what are your next goals? What are your next? Where are you pushing towards next?
Full time for sure. I'm really focusing on social media, post sharing more about myself and these stories like what we're talking about and the work itself. I would love to do I have some goals about recording more of my actual readings and posting those out there so then people can kind of see, the work itself. And I want to, build a community and a following and just have a space for people to learn about mediumship and psychic work. That's really the goal, and to kind of build it online. I think that's where our world's going. Things are becoming more and more um, online type of stuff. It's just how it is. But I also love the in-person thing, so I'm gonna keep doing that because I do enjoy that more, to be honest with you. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, my goals right now are really focused on building a community and through, Facebook, Instagram, those kind of things.
I love that. Courtney
Mhm.
says podcast. Podcast.
Yeah, I think so. At some point, probably.
You know I've had people come and going, great interview. I mean, they're loving you here. You're wonderful with how you're speaking, explaining things. And this is not a world that's easy to explain. It's just everybody's got their own view, but to explain the medium world it's a different world to live in. It's not easy. It's a commitment. It's a different way of life.
Hmm.
And with me seeing that, do you see more people opening up to that way of life? Maybe not being mediums, but opening up to the understand, the proverbial awakening,
Hmm.
like a better terminology. Do you see more people doing that?
Yeah, I do. I think over time, people are going to start, people have already that the things that our society are so focused on is the materialism, is the money, the all the fancy things like that. And I think more and more people are starting to find that it's not fulfilling them. Having social status or prestige, like these things aren't ultimately important. And I think that more people are awakening to that and seeing that, oh, I don't get, 1,000 likes on Instagram or whatever. Like, I get that, but I'm not happy. And I think more and more people are realizing that side of life that isn't very meaningful and starting to see, oh, wait a minute, there might be something more to my life other than, those sorts of things. And I think more and more people are waking up to that. Um, in going within more or however they do that. And I mean, the more that you do that, the more fulfilled and happy and the more meaning you're going to have in your life because it's not going to come from outside of you or people validating you or whatever. So I think people are getting to that point more so over the last like 10 years that I've kind of noticed. Um, so yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I love that. I really do. I love that.
Mhm.
So I did put your website, and I do believe it's at one. I'm not on Facebook right now, not by my choice. They said they're reviewing who I am. They're
Oh,
trying to figure out if I'm me. I think it's the name. I really think it's the name. They're like, nobody can possibly have that name. But
weird.
so did I? It's Mike. Am I totally massacring your last name, Pozorski?
A little bit. It's
Oh,
Pozorski.
Pozorski. Oh, I knew I was just gonna. I try. I
That's
try.
okay.
I think God gave. I got the name DeEtte, so I would never get anybody else's name ever correct ever again.
Yeah, I had trouble trying to pronounce your name too. I'm like, I don't know how to say her name, so hopefully you can ask me.
There you go.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. So I want people to find you. I want people to come and see you and get readings from you, pick your brain, get the inspiration because I think you're just an amazing person and definitely found the right, occupation for yourself. A great source. So thank
Thank
you so much.
Yes, I will also, for anyone listening, if they want a reading, I can send, I'll have a 10% off discount, and I'll send you that too over email if that works for you.
Perfect, perfect, and we can put it into the comments, for people to be able to do that. So thank you so much, Mike.
Awesome,
Thank
thank you.
thank you for joining me. It's just been such a pleasure, and hopefully we get to see each other again in the future. I mean, we're only like an hour, hour and a half away. So
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. Well, you have a beautiful day, and for everybody else, I'll be back with your weekly reading in a few minutes here with DeEtte on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB.com. Bye bye.
Download the new station calendar and never miss another show. To get it is simple and free. Just visit WLTK-DB.com to download or tap the subscribe button on our mobile app. Once the file is in your downloads folder, just double-click it, authorize it to your calendar, and boom, you have every show listed. Not only does it list the shows, but also the links to watch them live. We would like to thank Danny Loosemore for developing this for us and hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Get yours now at WLTKDB.com or just click subscribe on our mobile app. See you at the shows. Put the power of this station in the palm of your hand and download our mobile app. Visit the App Store, Google Play, and search for WLTK-DB Talk Radio and download the app for free. Listen to past shows, download our station calendar right to yours, and even shop the WLTK-DB Talk Radio mobile app. Now available on the App Store and Google Play. Download yours now.
Hello, welcome back. This is DeEtte here on Schooled Thru Spirit with WLTK-DB.com. Gosh, Mike was such an amazing guest. Wow, wow, awesome. He just had such a beautiful way of explaining everything and, really, really kind of breaking it down without feeling like you're in school. You know what I mean? Without feeling like you're in school, which I love. I truly love that. Oh my God, guys, what cards? I have, you know what? I went to turn around. It's like, what cards? You know what? And strangest thing, on my desk is a penny. Pennies to me are huge. So, what cards, guys? Any certain deck you want? Anybody want to shout out that's out there? If not, I'm going to pick one and then you're stuck with whatever I choose. I kind of won. Angels. I have no angel cards, Des. Closest thing I have to angel cards would be these two. What? I know. I love it. What? No, I don't have angel cards. Mo's Annie. I love you guys are all wonderful. Just Eddie, pick one. Okay. Well, Des said angels. This is the closest I'd have to one. Okay. You guys are so awesome. So let's do Nature's Whisper cards because they are the closest. They're kind of angelic. I guess, when I look at them. So, and I do love this deck. I really do love this deck. So this is going to take a minute to shuffle because I didn't start shuffling on break, which I normally do because I got a hand that says, forget you. Ooh, Tim. 2, 3 deal. 2 to 3 deal. I think it's going to be 3 deal. Don't know what I need to tell you that, but there you go, Tim. There you go. I think you know what I'm talking about. My hand finally is feeling better, guys. My hand is finally feeling better. This thing has been nothing but excruciating pain until okay, y'all don't know this, but literally I went to therapy on Thursday and she really massaged the hell out of it and made I really wanted to hurt her because I was hurting so bad, but I didn't. God bless her heart because she's amazing. And then I woke up Friday to the flu. I literally stayed in bed. I woke up, got my granddaughter off to school, went back to bed, and did not get out of bed until that night when I taught a class for a half an hour. I went back to bed and then did not get out of bed again until Saturday morning. And then I went and took my granddaughter to my mother's house to sit with cat sit for the day. And I just did nothing for 2 days. Absolutely nothing. The arm just sat still, just healed, didn't push myself. Finally, you know what? When you don't listen, your guides take you out. And guess what? The hand feels so much better. It's like pain is about gone. I mean, there's still some pain, but nothing compared to what it was. So yeah, big difference there. Um, you're gonna get an Uno shuffler for the I love it. There you go for your harmonica order. That's a different show, Courtney, but that was funny. Good to hear, Dan. I don't really appreciate how you use your hand until I cramp my left hand up for a hold. Exactly, and that's just it. I'll tell you what, I didn't realize how much I used it until, ugh. But you know what? The flu does suck. But you know what? I kind of asked for it. I asked for it because a few weeks ago, I was just like, can I just get one day where I lay in bed and I do nothing but watch Star Wars all day? That's it. I want to be just stuck in bed, glued to a TV, whatever it takes. And of course, I don't listen. Spirit gave me what I asked for. But you know what? In the end, it ended up being the best for me. So I'm not gonna complain about that part. So let's do our 5 card stud, guys. I need to take a drink of water. Okay, 5 card stud. Pick your numbers 1 through 5. Whatever number you want is yours. You can pick all of them. You can pick 1 or 2 of them. You know me. I like to take all 5 cards. Tim likes to take all 5 cards. So let's get started. Card number 1 is the bountiful harvest. Bountiful harvest. Things must be doing good because I think I remembered this card coming up a week or 2 ago. Bountiful harvest is really just about you. You know what? You've got a lot of good things coming in. You've got a lot of good things coming in all around you. Now, this isn't just financial, guys. This is everything and anything. You need to start looking around to these blessings. Sometimes it's an attitude adjustment, which, I love telling a grown ass woman or man, have an attitude adjustment. But look at everything around you. See all the good that's coming to you because you've got tons of it all around. Okay. Because it is a harvest. This isn't just picking one plant. This is all of it. You know what I mean? Um, Card number 2, adventure. Card number 2, adventure. Okay. Oh, happy birthday, Miss Stephanie. So card number 2 being adventure. This is literally, this card is telling you, you need to start realizing that life is an adventure. You have places to go, places to be. You also have to realize that this is what it is. I'm hearing that it's not that hard, guys. Whoever picked number 2 and is looking at this is not that hard. You might be looking at life like, life's a little bit difficulty or life's a little bit harder. Okay. You have to realize that life is an adventure. Life's a lot of fun. And no matter what you do in life, it is about that adventure. Whether it's going, think about it. You want to get your newspaper on a Sunday morning, you're in your pajamas, it's snowing up, the neighbors are out, you're going, oh my God, and I don't want to get dressed with boots just to go down to the end of the sidewalk, down to my end of my thing, to my mailbox because he was too lazy. You just hang your head and you make the jot out to it. What an adventure, huh? Because you're thinking about that experience all day long. You know what I mean? You're thinking about it. And what this is telling me is, guys, need to start looking at life as being more of an adventure. This isn't about taking an adventure. It's about looking at the little adventures that are all around you. Okay. Card number 3. I think we're getting the same cards as last week, guys, and you've seen me shuffle. Maintain your childlike spirit, card number 3. This is really going within. Again, it's, same cards, different flow. If you're understanding this, it's a different flow. So the childlike experience really is going within yourself. Start having fun. Start having fun. We get to that age where we start going, oh my God, life sucks. Oh my God, life is hard. Oh my God, this and that. No, guys, no, life is fun. When you look at things, you know what I mean? You don't have to sit there and go, ugh, all the time. When I take the same scenario of, being in your pajamas and it snowed and you got your coffee and you got your nasty hair from Saturday night going on and all the sleep and you want to get your newspaper, You can either go, get your coffee. God, I lost internet. Sorry, guys. Start saluting yourself on the way to it, and laughing, giggling, and have a conversation without your neighbor, and start going. You know what I mean? Like you're from a 1950s show, and just have fun, because that's what life's about: being alive, having fun. And if you picked card number 3, you really need to start looking at that and just embracing it and realizing how much this might be your personality already, and you didn't even know it. Card number 4. Yeah, guys, I'm telling you what, you seen me shuffle and I cut the deck. I shuffled and may not shuffle very well, but then I cut the deck too. Then I cut the deck. And we got potential gateway as card number 4. Okay. Card number 4, potential gateway, tells me, you know what? You've got a lot going on. You've got a lot going on. You're going, okay, I need to get through this. I need to push through. How do I push through? Where's that opportunity? Where's this going to happen for me? Where's all of that? I'm going to tell you, this card is saying it's all right there. It is all right there. You are not alone in this, because, every time I pull this card, I got to pull it. I need to pull it closer. I need to pull it closer, because you can see that the land, and you can see all the people on there, and you see that beautiful tree. Okay. It is all happening. There is work to be done. There is work to be done, but it is there for you. You just have to walk through the gateway. You just have to say, you know what? I am allowing myself to have this. Okay. And card number 5, the last of this part, is heighten your vitality. Heighten your vitality. Okay. Heighten your vitality. What an amazing card, isn't it? Isn't that amazing? I always look at this card and I look at the words and I always go, oh, do they really mean anything to me? You know, I always look at this as seeing a bigger picture, and seeing the beauty within it all, and seeing how it all just comes together. And you have to realize that everything is coming together. Everything had to come together to create you. Everything had to come together to create your life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And realize how beautiful it is. And realize you're not alone in this. And that's what this card really does mean to me. So card number 1 is that bountiful harvest. Card number 2 is that adventure card. Card number 3 is maintain your childlike spirit experience. Card number 4 is the potential gateway. And card number 5 is the heighten your vitality card. I was like, yep, all 5 again. Yep. Oh, what is in front of us is always much smaller than exactly. So let's turn around, guys, and I'm gonna pull, because I love these. I love the Beyond Luminaire cards, because you know what? I love how they have, so much to say. They really do. And I love to read the back. I love the images on it, everything. We're gonna do the whole shuffle thing again, so you can see I shuffle these cards. If I didn't do some sort of shuffling and cutting these cards in front of you this every week, you'd be like, God, she just pulling the same cards. No, not really, guys. I couldn't plant them if my life depended on it. So, and then I take the top card. Gorgeous. Okay. Water, the overflow. The being in the picture has many hands, and yet water falls through her fingers. It blesses her in the moments it touches her radiant skin and continues on its journey. Her heart is also overflowing with love. Her eyes are filled with tears. She gracefully allows that what comes through to move her without control. Aligned with purpose, she is overjoyed to give from the limitless places, and she radiates so much light into the world. Give more from a place of overflow than obligation. Even when we think we have nothing to give, coming from a mindset of overflow creates more of what we want. Ooh, ooh, isn't that incredible? It's pretty incredible, isn't it? Again, it's changing your attitude. It's changing your mindset. It's changing how you perceive things. Okay? It's not always financial, guys. Sometimes it's a helping hand. Sometimes it's sugar in your cupboard. Sometimes it's a smile. Sometimes it's a shoulder. Sometimes it is your last $5. But I'll tell you what, this is what I think every time I don't have a penny left to my name. It's okay, because they always bring me more. Always. And it's always there when I need it. So why fret? You know what I mean? And trust me, this card means so much, guys. Change your attitude. And I think that's why these cards came up again this week in a different order and a different feeling, is just because it's looking at everything is within you. All of it is within you. It's all coming to you. It's all about how do you see it? And that's the biggest question, isn't it? I love that. I love that. Oh, Cheryl, gratefulness for what we have. Exactly. Exactly. You know why? Because when you are grateful for what you have, you get more of it. You really do. You get more of it. It's crazy how that works, but we get more of it. So I want to bring up the shows. I did not read the shows last week. I brought them up. Todd was graciously sent me the new list, so I'm super happy about this. So let's bring up the shows because it's the current schedule. Ooh, I'm so excited. Schooled Thru Spirit with myself, 9 a.m. every Monday morning. At noon, we do have Monday Morning Monsters with Barnaby Jones. Beyond the Afterlight with Ashley Moreno and Ben is at 7 p.m. And Be the Change with Christina Bloom is at 8 p.m. Tuesdays, we start with Exploring the Paranormal with Heather Lee at 9 a.m. Ane with Ane Shen. And Ane is our card reader at 5 p.m. Unfiltered with DeEtte and Mike is at 6 p.m. And that's a whole lot of readings and coaching, whether we like it or not. Moment to Moment with Linda Hope is at 7 p.m. Spirits Are Talking with Lisa Silverman at 9 p.m. And Paranormal Pete with Pete Orbea is at 10 p.m. Wednesdays, we start with Self-Care Show with Deidre Sanford at 10 a.m. The Psychic Hour with Kelly Brickle is at 3 p.m. Soul Guidance with Rodney Blunt at 6 p.m. He starts March 22nd, guys. So in not even 3 weeks, we have a new show starting there. And then we have another new show starting next week called Haunted Locations in 60 Minutes with Nick Sarlo and Diana Henry. Yes, Nick came on board. Nick was my guest last week, guys. Do you remember him? And that's at 7 p.m. Wednesday, Seeing Beyond with Kelly Brickle and Cheryl Murphy is at 9 p.m. Oh my God, Wednesdays used to be a slow night, guys. Now we got that filled for you. Thursdays is Chat with Charlie with Stephanie Lynn at 9 a.m. The Tyson's Gift podcast with Brandon Wainwright is at 6 p.m. Realm of Darkness with Rennie Rodriguez and Ashley Moreno is at 7 p.m. And Voice of Oneness with Amara Bonet is at 10 p.m. Fridays, we have got Soul and Synergy Radio with Terry and Danny at 10 a.m. The Psychic Hour Reading Show, and that's with Kelly Brickle, where she does psychic and numerology readings at 3 p.m. Go see her because it's pretty amazing. Twilight Tonight with Dee Dee Moonflowers at 6 p.m. Flyer is at 6 p.m. New Bridge Radio with Kevin Mackey is at 7 p.m. And Twisted Ascensions with Kaden and Alyssa Mask is at 8 p.m. And Haunted Voices with Todd Bates and Nicole Strickland is at 10 p.m. Oh my God, it was a mouthful, but so many amazing. I know I cannot wait to see him. So many amazing shows, so much awesomeness going on. My guest next week, drum roll, please. I gotta be able to flip the page successfully. One-handed page turner here. It doesn't work very well. Heather Bordelin is on next week. Oh my gosh, guys. I love Heather. She is flippin' phenomenal. Heather has been a behind-the-scenes woman way too long. And Heather is flippin' phenomenal. Heather is one of the producers. She's also the person who does all the filming, all the editing for the Ghost Finders, which is a streamed TV show. Heather also does a lot of editing for a lot of shows out there. She's just a phenomenal behind the scenes person. She also has her own company called the Gaia Wellness, which is just amazing. She makes so many amazing things, to bracelets and necklaces and just so many amazing things, and lip balms, and all of it's incredible. All of it's so incredible. guys, I cannot say enough. I cannot say enough about Heather, and I'm so happy that she said yes to me. When I asked her to come out and she said, yes, we could, when she would say it. And I was just like, I really wanted her on for so long. Oh, Mike got me the coupon. There we go. We are putting this out for you guys. Remember, he said 10% off, 10% off a reading. If you schedule with him, here is the coupon for you guys. I'm putting it in the comments and I'm going to put it up on the screen. There you go. It's Spirit 10, capital Spirits, or Spirit 10 after the fact. So I'm really hoping everybody tunes in to see Heather next week. She is just, I can't say enough about Heather, and I'm so honored the fact that she said yes to me. I cannot even say it because I'm the first person she said yes to, and I'm so excited that it's her debut. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to bid you farewell. I hope you have a fantastic week. And for those that follow me tomorrow night on Unfiltered, I'll see you then. For everybody else, have a great day. This is DeEtte with Schooled Thru Spirit on WLTK-DB.com.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.
Thank you.